Westerner doesn't even know that Iran has internet. P.S. I live in the east of Tehran. No, it's fucked up. I didn't realize Iranians had access to Reddit. I feel like an idiot, and I don't know where I got that idea. I hope you are safe, and whatever is happening is not the start of something terrible. They also have Steam. Been playing with an Iranian dad for the past 2 years. I hope he's safe. Like, there are... Dude, this is how fucking... This makes me so fucking mad. This makes me so mad because, like, we here in the Western world think we are fucking above it all. We're like the most intelligent. We are the peak of technological superiority, the defenders of liberty across the fucking planet. Okay? Meanwhile, the average American or the average Westerner doesn't even realize that when they're online, they're simultaneously broadcasting to a fuck ton of people in Iran as well. Like, they literally think that dudes are living in like huts. Like, there are Twitch streamers on this website right now that are broadcasting from Iran in real time. You know that, right? I'm an Iranian living in Tehran. I don't like my government that much, but at least they don't want to kill me with a missile. I also think the average Westerner thinks the same of Israel. No, they don't. Because Israel is seen as like a continuation of like Ashkenazi Jews that they see in the Western world. So they don't think that at all about Israel. Israel also has a tremendous amount of fucking propaganda tools in the Western world to like basically be like, we are the only moral democracy in the region. We're the only moral nation in the region. We're the only democracy in the region. That's the reason why they make that's the reason why they do that kind of fucking propaganda. Yeah, Israel has been doing Eurocentric propaganda about themselves for 60 plus divisions and cleavages in Iranian society. If Israel had limited itself to hitting nuclear sites, military bases, regime officials solely, they may have been able to navigate these divisions in a constructive manner. Also, what the fuck is that? I mean, I don't even agree with this. Like, I don't think this is appropriate either. Anyway, maybe he's not making a value judgment here. Instead, from the first day, they decided to carry out massive attacks against civilians in urban areas, including central parts of Tehran. They carried these out evidently not caring greatly if they killed their targets, their families, or random neighbors or passersby in the process. Accordingly, hundreds of people are already dead and many more wounded who had nothing to do with the situation and will be marked for life by these brazens to every country in the fucking region and totally get away with it without any sort of enmity whatsoever. Israeli officials, meanwhile, are boasting about burning the capital city of Iran with no sense of awareness of how Iranians and others may perceive that. They appear to be quite proud of specifically bombing famous areas of Tehran and making them look the way that they have made Gaza City appear. This is sick and irrational behavior that doesn't even comport with any identifiable political logic. It is rapidly earning them the undying hatred of a population that had previously been of mixed opinion or even more polarized against their own government. Israel has only one mode at this point, which is eradication and supremacy. I highly doubt it's possible to live in a region with such a country indefinitely or with people who are this far gone, perceiving how their own actions are viewed by others. The lesson every other capable state should draw is to discard any prior notion of compromise and achieve the maximum deterrence possible at all costs. No less, it would have been necessary to contain and roll back Nazi Germany, Imperial Japan, or any other of the radical genocidal states the world had been cursed to contend with in the past century. That is exactly what is going on. Okay? Israel is 100% a fucking Nazi country. Okay? I'm sorry. You can get mad and say, oh, this is anti-Semitism. But it is. They are behaving in the exact same fucking ways that the Nazis behaved as well. Israel's Farsi account quoting Minister of Defense, the fate of Tehran will be like Beirut's. Iranian monarchists don't talk nonsense. From war with the regime you got to destroying the country, didn't we support you enough? Why are you attacking civilian infrastructure? This is the Iranian monarchists tweeting at in Farsi, tweeting at the Farsi Israel propaganda tweet account, being like, "What are you doing? Please stop bombing us that hard. Don't bomb us that hard." Breaking Israel planning a Dahiya-style assault on Tehran. Oh. Canada and UK statement does not mention Gaza or Iran. We're keeping our war options open too, evidently. The reason why they're doing that is because America's signaling that they're going to go into this. They're going to go into this and fight alongside Israel to completely destroy Iran. That is where we're going. That is where we're headed. I've been telling you this for since Israel, since the denuclearization agreements started, telling you that like this is mostly going to be this is Israel's final goal. This is what Israel's final goal has always been. This is the big prize. They've been fantasizing about this moment, and America's been fantasizing about this moment for quite a while. Anyway, here. Let's watch the way while Israel is banging the war drums. Okay. Oh wait, hold on. Another note from Iranian Society from Iranian Seamus Malakafzali. There is undeniably a current of Iranians, especially younger ones, that have a hatred of Palestinians and are purely reactionary in their support for the West. This, however, does not automatically lead to a popular uprising when they start getting bombed unprovoked by Israel. The accusation of the Islamic Republic's adventurism having brought this war is ludicrous. Israel describes its attacks as preemptive. Iran itself didn't do an October 7th style attack on Israel. The Israeli jets arrived in Tehran first. That's it. That's it. That's the whole point. Even the most secular forces in the country that fucking despise, even monarchists that fucking despise the current administration and want to be lapdogs of the West, are not going to entertain the notion of having their fucking multiple thousand-year empire and all of its culture get destroyed in the hands of American rockets being directed by Israeli Air Force pilots. That's fucking insane. Who would want that? Who would say yes to that? Only people living here that act as though they are the spokesperson for the resistance in Iran would say those things, would entertain those idiotic notions, just like the Cubans here in America constantly salivate at the prospect of blowing up Cuba. If you get your notes from them, you are going to be oblivious to what's happening on the ground. For internal policy purposes, for domestic purposes, the Iranian government has presented itself as incredibly fucking restrained, looking at a denuclearization agreement that is the exact opposite of adventurism. Okay? You could have made the same statement about its involvement in Syria or its development of the axis of resistance against Israel. Now, all of those things, looking at it from the rearview mirror, probably come across as brilliant strategic moves that were to cripple and undermine Israeli position in the region. Do you understand?
At the end of the day, it's that of Ali Khamenei. It is his war.
Yeah, this is Reza Pahlavi, son of the former Shah of Iran, says he doesn't believe it was the intention of the Israeli government to attack Iranian civilians. Sick, man.
Iranian people's war. So ultimately, anything that weakens the regime, anything that pushes more to its back, is something that people welcome for obvious reasons, because they see that strangulation that holds them in that position beginning to loosen on their necks. This is something positive and not negative.
Are you actually saying then that Israel bombing your country, civilians in Iran being killed, is a positive thing?
I'm not saying that the targeting was meant to hurt the Iranian people. The targeting was meant to basically
He's a dog.
Neutralize the regime threat. Clearly, I don't think that it was an intention of the Israeli government to attack Iranian civilians.
What do you think then will happen next to the regime? You say people have been in the streets calling for them to be overturned. What will happen next?
But as I said, I think as a result of the regime being decapitated and weakened more than ever, it's an opportunity for the Iranian people to finally...
This is the son of the Shah, Reza Pahlavi.
liberate themselves, provided, of course, that this time the world doesn't sit idle and demonstrate vividly that beyond just imposing sanctions or what have you, they're prepared to take the next step of giving the Iranian people a sense of support for their fight for.
I told people this at least a year ago, and they thought there was no way. Great estimation on your part. This is at the heart of my at my analysis of countries in the region, countries in the Middle East. It was partially from it partially stems from the anecdotal, like firsthand accounts, firsthand experiences that I have.
For democracy.
Is Iran good or not? Iran is just a country, man. Good or not is not a thing, okay? Like, what do you mean? Everybody wants like a Marvel Cinematic Universe style fucking assessment here. Israel says at least 15 people have been injured. What is this?
President Masoud Pezeshkian says the country is acting in self-defense and will de-escalate as soon as Israel stops its airstrikes. Katia Lopez-Hodoyan reports.
Another round of Israeli strikes hit Iran. In and around the capital, Tehran, Israeli targets seem to be expanding. Among them, the provincial headquarters of the Ministry of Defense in Isfahan. And in the northeast, Israel says it struck a refueling plane in the city of Mashhad, describing it as its longest-range strike since the start of its attacks. Sunday's death toll includes the intelligence chief of Iran's Revolutionary Guard, Mohammad Kazemi. Iran's president says more strikes will be met with more retaliation.
Israel knows no boundaries. They intrude wherever they want with permission.
And they've done similar things in every fucking country since. They've done it all around the world. The United States of America has done this all around the world. So I walked through my dad in jail so many times just for doing wrestling matches with communists. It's such a stupid fucking perspective to have. First of all, who the fuck are you to be like, this is what other countries should do? Like, who the fuck do you think you are? Yeah, Mossadegh had no connections to USSR either. I'm just saying that was an unreasonable fear that they had. That is the primary role that Israel played as well. And for the record, early funders of the Iranian Revolution, ironically enough, were also Western powers that did not want Mossadegh either. And even throughout the process, I think there was a point in time when the Shah was also positioning himself against Israel as well to a certain degree. And the appetite for more destabilization of Iran caused people to also initially back the Iranian Revolution too. Yeah. Here is that fucking woke-ass Shah, by the way.
Your Majesty. In a man's life, women count only if they are beautiful.
I mean, he's a fucking monarch. Like, what are we talking about? Does that not shock people at all? Like, that Western liberals are like, oh, dude, we should do the monarchy in Iran. And that they have no smoke whatsoever and no animosity towards other monarch structures. Wait, why are you guys saying big F? I don't have a F. I'm not experiencing F at all. I'm not seeing it on my end. Like, Western liberalism is such a stupid, contradictory way of living life, where on the one hand, you're like, oh, you know what's better actually? We're liberals. You know what's better? A fucking monarch. You know who are also some of our best allies in the region? Monarchs. where women are also mistreated. Under the, like, what do you think? Where do you think women have more freedom? Iran or fucking Saudi Arabia?
Graceful and know how to stay feminine. You may be equal in the eyes of the law, but not in ability. You have never produced a Michelangelo or a Bach or even a great cook. You are schemers, you are evil, all of you. Oh, Your Majesty, you said all these things.
Not with the same words, no.
Well, the thought, you've never produced a Michelangelo, a Bach, or even a great
This I
cook.
have said.
So you don't feel that women are, in that sense, equal, that they have the same intelligence or ability?
Not so far, maybe you will become in the future. You can always have some exceptions.
Here and there.
But yes, but on the average.
Yeah, Israel genocide in Gaza, UAE genocide in Sudan, also contributing to Israel's actions in Gaza. Saudi Arabia genocide in Yemen, also Saudi Arabia, again, a defender of Israel in the region, so a contributor to the genocide in Gaza as well. Iran, no genocide, yet Iran is the biggest evil. This isn't to say that like the domestic policies are fucking fantastic in Iran currently. They're not. And it is very clearly developed a lot of resentment amongst the youth in Iran as well. But if you're stupid enough to look at the situation in a place like Iran especially, which is far more diverse, far closer to your understanding of like a Western cosmopolitan nation, and with cities that have stood the test of time, as opposed to your fucking Orientalist framework when you deal with all Arab countries. Like Iran has a lot of incredibly educated people, many of them that don't like the fucking current administration. It's so stupid. This is what I'm talking about when I say, like, I mean, yeah, Saudi Arabia at 9/11, that's another one. The average